When it comes to heat transfer material, there is one staple of the industry that has not only stood the test of time, but is one of the most durable and versatile products on the market. So today it's time to show you 2 unique ways to use EasyWeed by Siser, and this time you're gonna wanna watch to the end. Now before we dive in though, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so that you can stay up to date on all things Siser. And with that said, let's get started. Now, as you may or may not know, EasyWeed comes in many different categories, from Eco Stretch to Electric, Glow in the Dark, Adhesive, EasyWeed Extra Puff, Glow, and did I say Eco Stretch? Well, anyways, today I want to focus our attention on the standard EasyWeed and do a quick application to lay the foundation for all kinds of decorating with this powerhouse product. When working with EasyWeed, there are 2 sides of the material that can get, well, a little bit confusing. A cuttable side and a carrier side. So let's take a closer look. Now the carrier side of your material is typically referred to as the shiny side of the material, with a noticeable clear film that holds your heat transfer material in place until it is applied. The adhesive side has more of a matte finish, and in some cases the adhesive side can even be white, as some colors require a white base layer to make the material color stand out. So with my design in hand, after I've cut and weeded, it's now time to do a quick application. So to start, it is always best to pre-press our garments, as this accomplishes 2 goals. Now, number 1, it will draw out and remove any additional moisture that can be held into the material itself, whether from over dyeing the material during the manufacturing process or overuse of preservation chemicals in the fabric itself. Now, number 2, by releasing any of that additional moisture from the fabric, this will also help to shrink the garment down to a more permanent shape that would naturally result by washing or drying your garment a couple of different times. Both points will help you to give a much more successful application for any decoration method. Once we have pre-pressed our shirt to the application temperature of 305 degrees, we are now ready to apply your design. Now place your design onto your garment and apply for the recommended time and temperature of 305 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 15 seconds. And all application information can always be found by visiting www.siserna.com or by using our mobile app. Now once the time is up, simply remove the carrier sheet while the material is still hot. This is called a hot peel, and is one of the many benefits in using EasyWeed for your next project. And there you have it. You now know the foundation of the next 2 methods in this video. Okay, so I realize that by the title of this section that you're probably saying to yourself one of 2 things. Patrick, we know how to use EasyWeed. Or, Patrick, what does it even mean? Well, I'm excited to show you yet one more fun way to use EasyWeed and a super versatile material that we call holographic pearl. Now, I got a chance to learn this method from our buddy Lewis over at Siser Italy, and I thought it was a super innovative way to create. So, well, thanks, Lewis. To start, we are going to create a design that will be cut out of EasyWeed and then use the holographic pearl as a top layer, revealing the EasyWeed design underneath the holographic pearl, as it is a semi-transparent material. Now, no matter what software you're using, it's important to note that you have total freedom to create any design, but for this particular one, we're gonna remove some elements of our single EasyWeed layer to make the design really stand out. Now, with my design complete in software, I can now start cutting my EasyWeed and holographic layers. Once my 2 layers are cut and weeded, I will first start with the EasyWeed layer. Now, another great attribute of EasyWeed is that it can be applied quickly using what we call the 1-second tack method, which is when you apply your material, or in this case, our EasyWeed, for just 1 second and then peel the carrier sheet off hot, as mentioned earlier in this video. This will help you to not only increase your speed of production, but will minimize any additional shrinkage that can cause your 2 layers to be misaligned. Once we move on to our second layer of holographic pearl, we can align the top layer with our applied EasyWeed layer and press our design for 10 to 15 seconds. Now, one note that when working with holographic material, unlike EasyWeed, this layer will be a cold peel. So you want to give the garment time to cool down before peeling to avoid any premature lifting of your material. And that's all it takes to create an awesome 2-tone design that will simply last. Moving on, as many of you know, our graphics team is the absolute best in the industry at finding new ways to create incredible projects using heat transfer materials. And this next project is from one of our very own Kortez, and this is an effortless way to create a fake tape effect using 2 products. 2 different colors of EasyWeed and 1 product called Sparkle Clear. To really understand how to make this method work, we are going to break the design down inside Leonardo Design Studio. And if you do not have Leonardo Design Studio, don't worry, as this can be done in any design software. So to start, we're going to simply make a couple of different size elongated rectangles so that we can start to create the letters of our design. And in this case, I'm going to simply use the word Siser. But what is most important is to remember, what is so important to remember? That you want to purposely leave some shapes.
A little bit funny.
I will start to lay out my shapes that I made into the shape of the word I want to create using this effect. So keep in mind that you may need to make some small adjustments to the length of the shapes to accommodate the text, but what is most important to remember is that you want to purposely leave some of those shapes overlapping in your design, as this will be an important next step in creating the fake tape effect. Next, duplicate your design. Now, using your duplicated layer inside Leonardo Design Studio, you will select the full design, then select the intersect button, which will create new shapes from the overlapping shapes in your design. Now, if you don't have access to the intersect tool in your preferred software, well, it might be time to check out Leonardo Design Studio if you haven't already. Now, I'm only kidding, but for real, check it out. All right. Your software's eraser tool will get the job done just fine, but be sure to erase any non-overlapping shapes in your design. The last step will be to duplicate your fake tape layer and then weld those shapes, as for this part of the design, we will need this for our top layer or sparkle layer. Okay, so now that we have our design finished and ready to cut, it's important to note when overlapping two pieces of tape that the portion that is overlapped typically is a shade darker than that of the non-overlapped layer. This opens the door to use any color for your tape. However, just make sure to use a slightly darker shade for the parts of the design that will overlap. In this case, I'm going to use EasyWeed Bright Red for the overlap shapes and EasyWeed Hibiscus for the non-overlap portions of my design. Now for the top finishing layer, we are going to use that Sparkle Clear to add a sheen to the overall design, creating the illusion of tape on your shirt. Now that our 3 layers of our design are cut and weeded, we can move on to the application step, and remembering that EasyWeed can be applied using the 1-second tack method. This will make producing this design fast and prevent any misalignment between each layer. First, apply your EasyWeed Hibiscus layer. Next, you will place your EasyWeed Bright Red layer in position of where the overlap parts of your design lay. And lastly, we will finish this off with our Sparkle Clear layer to give the glossy look of our Siser heat tape, and finish applying our design at 305 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 seconds. And there you have it. Making your next project using these 2 unique application methods will have your friends and family doing a double take with one of the best conversation starters that can be done right from your home. Now remember, you are not required to use a heat press when applying Siser materials if one isn't available to you. Just grab that trusty home iron and use the Siser mobile app for the most up-to-date application settings. Thanks for watching, and if you want to find out where you can get your hands on Siser products, reach out to us at info@siserna.com. And until next time, bye everybody.